In this video, I'm going to go through the setup for some of the problems on the Pythagorean theorem and how to solve the quadratics on them. The first thing for your activity was to go through this little process here, making using grid paper, making squares and how they fit together. So I think most of you are all set with that. What I want to talk about are the problems. The first one here is talking about a baseball field. So if you're not familiar with that, I wrote a note. But basically, each of the sides are 90 feet. And then we're looking at the diagonal. So each leg is 90 and you're finding the hypotenuse. So for all of these, you're doing the Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And so on these, your legs would each be 90, and then your hypotenuse is c. So make sure that when you calculate this out that you take the square root of c. Okay, so I'm going to jot down the answer if you want to see if you're right before you turn it in. It should be 127.3 feet. For problem 2, I'm not going through all the math on all of these, just giving you some tips, giving you the answer so you know if your process is right. Basically, for problem 2, you have a house, you have to get a ladder, you have the window is 25 feet above the ground, so we can draw a little diagram here, would be the ground, and then the window is 25 feet up, and you need to borrow a ladder. There's a bush, so you're going to have to get it past the bush. So you have to go out 10 feet here from the base. It's at a right angle. And then the ladder would sit like this. So the ladder is your hypotenuse, the length of the ladder, and that's what you're trying to find. So again, you're going to use your Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, and you're going to pop the values in. This is, we can call this one a and this one b. Doesn't really matter, but put those values in. But just want to set you up with the diagram. And the answer on that one should be 27 feet long ladder. Again, you should be showing out all the steps for credit, especially when I give you the answer. For problem 3 and problem 4, we get a little bit more complicated. So we're going to, again, use the quadratic formula, but the way this one is set up, we're going to end up with a quadratic. So we have one leg of a triangle. So first we're going to draw our triangle, our right triangle. And we have one leg is one more than the other leg. The hypotenuse is one less than 2 times the shorter leg. Find the lengths of all the sides. So I'm going to call the short side x, or the shortest, and then relate everything else to that. So we have this side here, I'll say is one more than the other than the shortest, right? So x plus 1. It's the other leg. And the hypotenuse is 1 less than 2 times the shorter leg. So 2x minus 1 equals the hypotenuse. So again, we're going to pop into a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And it's really important that you put parentheses around these expressions. when you put them in. So the short leg, it doesn't really matter which one you call A or B, but I'm going to call the short leg would be my A. And so that's just going in as x, plus B is x plus 1. And remember, I have to put the squares on there. And my C is 2x minus 1, and that is also squared. So what you have to do here, it's a little messy with the math, but you have to expand everything out and then simplify. So you're going to have x squared plus, then you're going to have to multiply this out. So we would have x squared plus, and that would be 2x in the middle because I multiply each term and then double it because it's a square, and then plus 1 times 1 there. Then on this one, again here, I'm going to square the first, so I get 4x squared. But then for the middle, I do have a middle term. I don't want to just jump down here and write minus 1. That would be not okay. Plus it has to be plus 1 because we have a minus and a minus. I would have to do negative 1 times 2x, so that's negative 2x, and then double it. You could do that out the long way if you're not sure, but that's going to be negative 4x, and then the plus 1. And then from there, you want to set everything equal to 0, so you're going to have a lot of number crunching to do, then factor, and then find the answer. So basically, you're going to end up with x equals 0 or x equals 3 when you factor that and solve. But x equals 0 can't be a solution. It's extraneous because we cannot have a length of 0, so we know we need to use this one. Then you can go back up and figure out what's happening with all the other sides. The last one here, again, I'm not doing all the math on these, just trying to set you up. This is collected and graded, but just trying to set you up with how to start it. The hypotenuse of a right triangle is 2 centimeters more than the longer leg, while the longer leg itself is 2 centimeters longer than the shorter leg. Find the length of the hypotenuse. Okay, so we have a similar situation to number 1. So I'm going to call x the short leg, and the longer leg is 2 centimeters longer than the short leg, so that would be my x plus 2 in parentheses, and then my hypotenuse is 2 centimeters more than the longer leg, so this is the longer down here, so x plus 2, and then my hypotenuse is 2 more than that, so altogether my hypotenuse is x plus 4. So that's kind of the tricky part with that one. And then again, you're going to just pop into this Pythagorean theorem here. You're going to simplify and solve, and your answer should come out to be 10 centimeters. Okay. So once you do all this, and submit, I can upload the solutions for you, the written solutions, and if you need more assistance, just let me know. Have a great day. Hope that helps.